right, everybody, welcome back to Master of the Universe Horror Podcast. I'll say welcome to the Creepshow. Got all worked up with Creepshow 2, but today we're doing 1987's Creepshow 2. That's the year I was born, kid, and this is believe it or believe it not, Gabe actually likes Creepshow 2 more than the original Creepshow. So, Chris and Gabe, how did y'all enjoy Creepshow 2 watching it again? I know it took Chris fucking 6 months to watch it, but, you know.
I'll go ahead and start, get mine out of the way, and I'll let Gabe so eloquently put things as he often does. I liked the first and last sketches. Didn't really care for the middle. Didn't care for the Raft. But the first and last were great. Good stories. First story was kind of counterintuitive to what you normally would see from that authorship, Tales of the Dark Side, the Origins Creepshow, that eventually leads into the HBO Tales from the Crypt. That one went a little bit different than what it normally, the flow of the story is, or the dynamic of the story is. But still, I liked it. I just didn't care for the Raft. Was it better than Creepshow 1? I would not say that. In fact, I probably would say overall, I think Creepshow 1 was a little bit better.
All right, Gabe. Let's hear it, son.
Well, I'm just happy there was no grass in this movie. I enjoyed part 2, and it's funny because how Chris says that he didn't like the Raft, which was the whole middle section. Because honestly, that's the only one I could really watch over and over. I mean, the beginning is cool, it's all right, and so is the ending. The last one, it has its like funny moments, but I don't know. There's just something about part 2. It just seemed a little more over-exaggerated, especially for something as silly as like what the monster was. And so I just like, the characters, like how they were like kind of carrying themselves, a bunch of dummies. But man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Overall, part 2, I happen to watch that one a little more than part 1. But yeah, it's whoever likes it. That's what they like.
Yeah.
And I can go ahead and jump into it whenever y'all are ready. If Joe, you want to go ahead and give your background on this.
Yeah, before I do, I just wanted to ask, because I know you said your favorite's the Raft. Chris, what's your favorite one out of these three? What's your favorite one? I know you like.
My favorite was the last one, the Hitchhiker.
No shit. Well, my favorite one's Old Chief Woodenhead. So go figure. I guess I guess I'll talk the most about Old Chief Woodenhead. Gabe will talk the most about the Raft, and fucking Chris will fucking polish the podcast with the Hitchhiker at the end. We'll talk about the shit he liked the most. Yeah, with me, I remember always seeing the shit as a kid, and I was like, there's a Creepshow 2, and I thought like, oh, it was gonna be dumb. And just one time on YouTube, it's still on YouTube actually. I was like, you know what? Let me check this one out, because I kind of had a flashback, and I had always remembered seeing the Native American statue, and I was all like, oh, you know what? That looks pretty cool. Let me watch it, because I remember seeing it as a kid, but I might have been too small to remember it. And yeah, putting that thing on, I love the fucking intro statue thing. I know we're not gonna do it today. Well, of course not today, but the next podcast we're doing Tales from the Hood, which you've already watched. And I had completely forgotten that there was the dolls section. And I guess I always like things that are not supposed to be animated become animated, because yeah, I love that one. But anyway, yeah, I love this whole story because of Old Chief Woodenhead, or this movie. And then right after that, I kind of never really watched the Raft. I always I'd have it on, but actually when I sat there and I watched it, I was like, man, there's a lot of suspense on there, but we'll save that for the fucking getting into details section of it. But yeah, Gabe, you want to start us off with the prologue? This one's a little bit different, right? The way they have the little introduction, they have like a painted creep instead of the fucking dummy or whatever it was before, a real skeleton.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh man, I kid you not. This whole movie, it's still similar to the first one, where it's all comic book type feel to it. But what makes this one pretty neat, though, is that in comparison to the first one, where it was actually like real people and they're just acting out like scenes in a comic book, and the little boy actually ends up coming across like this Grim Reaper thing in the window where he's treating it as if it was his friend. In this one, in part 2, it's still similar, where it's the Grim Reaper is still involved, and there's still a little boy who's involved with comics, and he's treating like this Grim Reaper like person as a friend. It's animated, and the animation style. If you're familiar with like Lord of the Rings, if you're familiar with like Lord of the Rings, like that kind of animation, or say you even watched Heavy Metal, there's like a whole bunch of like just the animation. It's so. Pink Floyd's The Wall. If you're familiar, if you ever seen that, it's just that animation style. It definitely it resonates with that whole '80s theme, you know, and it was very big during that time. You know, a lot of animated shows. Anyways, as far as Creepshow 2, that's the whole thing. It kind of jumps back and forth between like from realistic from the movie scenes, the segments, the stories, into where it jumps into the story. I don't know if that was a cheaper way of doing it, since instead of just paying the actors to go ahead and act it out in comparison to part one, or they just maybe they had a bigger budget.
Yeah, I know for this one they didn't have as big of a budget, because I know like Tom Savini, he wasn't doing the effects, even though I think he's in here. He's playing the creep, like when he's throwing out the fucking garbage, right? That's
yeah.
So yeah, he does that part, but he's not doing the effects, and of course not. George Romero's not directing and all that, so they were missing, you know, like a lot of that shit. But even though they were semi involved or whatever, but it wasn't like the way it was for the first one. So I would definitely think that their budget was cut down compared to the first one, because this one's at 3.5, but yeah, and what I do like about this one is like you had said, those little prologues in the middle set, like they're in between every story. There's like it's instead of, what's the kid's name of the first one, Billy or some shit? Oh, I'm talking. Yeah, is it Billy? And
Billy.
So like he's getting chased like through the whole thing by some bullies, and he's got some kind of like what are those fucking gimmick plants that eat shit. So this one's kind of cool. It's not as good as the other one, but it's.
I had one of those when I was a kid.
What is it called?
A Venus flytrap.
Venus flytrap, yeah. But so yeah, he has his own little thing, and I like the voice of this creep, because the first one he didn't really have a voice. He didn't say anything, right? He was just kind of like smiling, the creep.
Yeah. See, this one he starts off.
Hello, kitties, some shit like that.
Yeah. He goes ahead and introduces himself like he's delivering newspapers. That's how it starts off. Is that he's delivering newspapers, and here this little kid runs, and he's all like grabbing like the damn comics and all that, and yeah, sure enough, like that, like you said, the little boy is like he ends up going to the post office too, and he's all like, "Oh, did my package come in? Yeah. What is it? It's a Venus flytrap." Oh, what? I mean, he has to over exaggerate that. But
yeah, the animation, like the smile's all ridiculous and shit.
Yeah,
I'll care him when he gets the fucking raise or anything, dude. Hey, Chris gets any kind of money, gets a free meal. It's like, motherfuckers. But Chief Woodenhead, man, this one, how you know, if you could tell this story for the fans out there, because I know me and Chris would fuck it all up as usual.
No, there's not really much to this story. It's a rundown town that's pretty much that it hit its prime, and now it's just kind of gone downhill. You know, all business is gone, the people had left, and now it's just down to this old store owner and his wife. So they run this whole hardware store among some goods and stuff like that. You know, they got some food and stuff like that in there. Well, anyways, the wife's trying to talk him into like moving, telling the husband like, "Hey, close up shop. All the people are leaving. It's a dead end town. There's no reason to stay. Let's take off out of here." No.
How funny is that shit? Like they're like, this used to be a thriving town, and like there's fucking absolutely nothing by their shop.
Yeah, and what gives it more so to make it more so look like that it's a dead end area or a dead end town. They're like in the middle of like, I don't know, Arizona or something.
Yeah, you see literally a fucking mountain behind the store. I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? You know? And George Kennedy's in this motherfucker, dude.
Motherfucking George Kennedy. This is the thing. We drove through towns like that in New Mexico, and like there's like Native Americans there and stuff, and little crap shops, stuff like that. Like those are all over New Mexico. They were back in the early '90s when we went there. But Yeah, and George Kennedy. I mean, I know he's been in a million different, acting roles in his career. But what me and Gabe remember Breath of Shore.
Breath of Shore?
In the 90s, his commercial, don't fall for pills and gums that are just minty cover-ups. Breath of Shore cleans your breath from the inside.
How about George Kennedy with fucking Naked Gun, who Leslie Nielsen was in Creepshow 2, who was also a Naked Gun. How about that? Let's talk about Breath of Shore, Gabe. You don't remember that? Are you stupid or something? How stupid are you, Gabe? You don't remember that? You don't remember that? And he's talking about the commercial more than the movie.
I think of Leslie Nielsen. I don't think of George Kennedy with a Naked Gun. I think of Leslie Nielsen.
Well, I'm just saying they both come out of there. Like it's his boss. I'm just saying, how do you not know from fucking Naked Gun? If you watch Naked Gun, the boss is all like a jackass, just as much as fucking Leslie Nielsen is, But anyway, Chris, I'm Breath of Shore. You don't remember Breath of Shore? Chris remembers every commercial that ever was when he grew up. He'll tell you them all. But yeah.
I shit you not. I honestly, I can't say I remember Breath of Shore. If anything, I try to forget all the damn commercials that popped up constantly, and they were so cheesy as shit. I try to ignore half of them. I always walked away and came back.
Yeah, and I never watched. Yeah, I never watched commercials. Fuck all that. But yeah, they're trying to get rid of, or they're trying to get the fuck out of there because they're saying something about how like. There's like you can't trust people or whatever the fuck she's saying, and then like the chief or whatever he is,
right.
Ben Whitemoon or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. So what happens is that after they're done explaining, the store owner explains how he has a sentimental value for the store he doesn't want to leave, and the wife's like, "Oh, you're too nice of a person, blah blah blah. Everyone's a heartless son of a gun, There's no reason to be here or be nice to these people." Anyways, these Native Americans end up rolling up, and the chief of that tribe ends up saying, "Hey, I just came to pay my respects or whatever, but I just want to go ahead and give you the family jewels." And he's like, what? Why are you doing this? We have a debt and you've helped us out, but we don't have money for that. These jewels they have a lot of great value, not just, out there how much they're worth, but to our tribe, that's a lot. But we have a lot of pride, go ahead and take our family jewels. And if you hold on to it, if we can't pay you back within 3 summer days of a sunset, past winter, then you go ahead and keep our family jewels. And he's like, "Oh no, I can't take that. No, you don't want to make us beggars. Then that would be shameful."
That's Chief Benjamin Whitehead who gives him that. And yeah, it's the same. It's like you said, it's the dynamic of, we're in debt to you. We wish
Whitehead. You're thinking about pimples. White Moon.
Oh, what was it? Carol should like this one. It was Dave Chappelle. Oh, what was it? Blackfeet.
And then after that, we got 3 jackasses that come into the store. Dude, how over are these group of jackasses, dude?
Jackasses is the nephew of Chief Whitemoon.
Yeah, Sam Whitemoon, dude. I know that. I know like. The reason why I like this obviously is because the Native American Indian guy comes alive and shit. The chief. I guess he's a chief too. But I love Sam Whitemoon's fucking like promo cutting wannabe Dwayne Johnson. He's like The Rock before The Rock was The Rock. He's all like, look at this hair. Like when I go to Hollywood, they're gonna say, "Sam, get in front of these cameras." It's just so stupid and shit.
I no homo, but he did have great hair, man.
Yeah, he's all like, you know how many women are gonna, are just dying to have this hair between their legs, like everything and shit. I'm like, this guy is like, he's the new Mark, dude. It's like Mark when he had long hair, but not that long, dude. But yeah, his whole thing is that he wants to go to Hollywood, and there's no dust in Hollywood and all kinds of stupid shit. I was just like, oh, this guy's great, dude. So.
And then he's got his sidekicks, his fucking Vinny Fatso and fucking Richie Bag.
Yeah, he calls him like Rich Boy or something. Yeah, I laughed right away when they showed up to the shop, and he's all like, "Hey Sam, let's put this in his mouth," and he's got like some kind of screwdriver like with the little handle, and then that fat stuff's all like, "Oh, put this in his mouth, he big," and he starts doing some fucking stupid laugh. I'm like, Oh my god, what a bunch of
That, that
jackasses.
that laugh was so awesome though. Like at first, I always thought it was like goofy as shit, but the more you keep hearing it, because he does it more than once, so you just start realizing like this guy's kind of a dumbass. But that
Yeah.
laugh's pretty funny though. It kind of gets you going on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what happened. So the head chief ends up leaving. So these three goofies ends up showing up, and the leader of these that three little posse happens to be like the nephew of the chief. So he comes to rob the place, and he's there with the shotgun. And man, I kid you not, he's holding that shotgun, and he's like ready to pull that trigger. He is like showing so much anger, like he is like pissed off. But yeah, he's all happy about it. He takes a selfie in this photo booth, and he's talking about what great hair he has, and he keeps threatening the store owner and the wife. Eventually, he ends up shooting them, and he ends up killing them. And they rob the place and leave it to the two goofies that were there. They're unshocked. They're like, "Oh man,
I
I
never
can't
seen
believe that
anything
happened."
like that. Well, now you saw. I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that. Well, now you've seen it, and now you're gonna forget it.
Yeah, he's like just straight out like he don't give a shit. So these goofies, he's all like, "All right, what we're gonna do now? We're gonna go ahead and go to California. Rich boy, go and grab your car, and
Yeah.
go grab your Firebird, and we're gonna go ahead and meet back over here. You're gonna pick me up.
A
Go ahead
fucking
and pick."
Firebird. I love when he says that shit. He's all like, my buddy over here's got a Firebird, man. You know his dad got him a fucking Firebird. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's all, yeah, he ends up saying that shit. He's all like, my buddy here is rich. Yeah, his daddy went and bought him a Firebird, a fucking Firebird. Yeah. He's just shaking his head like, okay.
Isn't
Yeah, that's
isn't it
nice.
funny that you have like the Native American tribe that's all like broke, just paying in jewels. The store guy, fucking whatever the fuck his name is. I was laughing because she's like, we haven't had a cash paying customer in 4 days. We haven't had a card paying or check paying whatever customer in 2 weeks. I'm like, motherfucker, if like, yeah, if you had that much business, I would be the fucking standing out there for like 2 weeks all fucked up, you know?
Ray
Yeah.
by the way, that's the store owner.
Yeah, Ray, your favorite.
Yeah, so well at this point now, so the shop owner and what was it, Martha, right?
Yeah.
That was the mom,
Yeah.
or not the wife.
Yeah.
So they're both shot, and they both split off, and they take off to go back home so they can grab their stuff and head off to California. At this point, all of a sudden, at the front of the store, there happens to be a big wooden chief. He's big, muscular. He has a bow and arrow and a tomahawk in the other hand. And so pretty much this chief, this big wooden statue in the front of the store ends up coming alive to go ahead and avenge the shop owner and his wife.
Yeah.
So he's going to play while you get to see them at each one of their places. They're grabbing their stuff, ready to go. He comes over here. He goes ahead and shoots an arrow at one of them. I think it was Fatso, right?
Stuff,
He ends up
He gets it
Yeah.
really bad. I laugh when they're like, he's gonna go, I'm gonna go pick up some stuff, and like, he's got nothing but trash around there.
Yeah.
he just starts eating, killing time.
And then it goes
Fucking
to the,
Chris. He's like, I guess I'll just eat. Fuck it.
Chris, are you guys ready for the podcast? Yeah.
Takes off. Yeah, he gets like, it's cool because he gets like, I think it's an arrow through like the arm or through the neck first, and then one through the head, and it was like through his hat, and it looks like it was crazy. It was a really good, like, without them having the crazy Tom Savini effects, like they did like really good for what they had, like without it looking like too much like shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the rich boy, he's over there trying to sneak out of his parents' house. His parents since they're sitting down, and it looks like he comes from he has like a nice family, like his dad and I'm assuming his mom. They're both sitting down watching TV, and they're doing their thing. So he's trying to sneak out of the house. He has his bag and everything checked, and so he ends up going into the garage trying to get to the damn car. Well, trying to get to the car, that's where he ends up coming across the damn the big wooden statue, the chief, ends up coming in with the damn tomahawk, ends up trying to kill him. You just see blood splatter all over the damn wall.
That's another one where like they don't have like this badass special effects, but they make it work because it's like you just see their shadows, and then you see the blood, splatter against the wall. So I love that too because it looks fucked up because he turns around and you just see the fucking axe come down, but just their shadows. So that was really badass.
Yeah. Now at this point though, now we already got two of the Goofies dead, and now we got the leader. So now the leader is like grabbing his stuff, and he has to take the time to go ahead and check himself out in the mirror. All of a sudden, he hears noises coming from, I guess, like outside, and he's all like, "Hey, who's that? Who's that? Who's there?" He pulls out his shotgun again. Well, who opens the damn door is the damn wooden chief. So he's there, and he's like, "What the hell?" He's all, "This gotta be a prank," or he's like. He's kind of freaking out, but he sees the damn wooden chief coming towards him. He's all, "I don't think so." He whips out that shotgun and blasts him, and he shoots again, and like, no, nothing really happens. I mean, it's just hitting the damn wooden statue, and it just keeps coming after him. So he's like, "Oh shit!" So he goes to the damn bathroom, and he's like trying to, like, oh man, he's trying to get. He doesn't know how to get out. All of a sudden. The wooden chief ends up reaching right through the wall.
Like RoboCop and fucking, like when he kills the mayor.
Yeah,
you remember that? You remember that scene where he like goes through the wall and grabs him through there? I want to know whatever. And it better have really shitty gas mileage.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happens with this guy. Yanks his body like right through the damn wall. And then he's there with the tomahawk, and all of a sudden right before he... the guy's like struggling, like trying to like, get away, but he can't move, and the wooden chief is holding him by the hair, and he has that tomahawk, and just right when he's about to go ahead and like off with his head, well, it jumps back to the scene where it shows Ben
Whitemoon, with the jewels.
Yeah, so he wakes up and he has the jewels in his hand, and he's like, "Oh man!"
Don't we all on the first thing in the morning? Huh?
That's a normal Friday night for me.
Yeah, I love that kill because it's like he's all like, I think you just hear him like, ah, and then like you don't see him and he scalps him, man. So it's like, again, you don't see it happen. It's just that they put that image in your mind. So they did this a lot with this one. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's they were using their imaginations on this. So as the chief ends up coming back to the store with the family jewels to go ahead and give back to the store owner, so he comes there and he sees the wooden chief out there in the front, and guess what he has in his hand? The damn beautiful hair from that.
And Gabe's really getting the hair over. Yeah.
So could you say he scalped him?
He did, yeah. He did. Yeah, that's what those the fucking native tribes would do. They would that's what it's called, right? Scalping. They fucking.
Yep.
Fuck. So now that's like a perfect, like, the fucking wooden chief comes alive and he scalps that guy's hair. So it's like a perfect little setup, So I liked it, but we'll save our ratings towards the end of it. Or we'll just do rankings. On to the next section, the Raft, and in between it, there's another prologue. I don't remember what the fuck it was, but I think it's like that little kid Oh yeah, that's well. You had talked about it. He was getting that package delivered, so that's what it was. But the Raft, dude. This one was really good, dude. This is like a Friday the 13th slash the Blob because it's like in the
Yeah.
fucking whatever, like the wilderness, and I love it, dude. Tell that story, dude, because I can't do it justice.
Man, I kid you not. This is like definitely by far like my favorite one. And you're right, like it has that Friday the 13th type of vibe. That not just because of like the wilderness, like where they're at, but they're those young teenagers, all about sex. They're college students. They're all about sex, smoking pot. They're just out there to have a good time. I think they're on summer break right now.
No, that was
they're
fall break. It was mid-October, so it was probably Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah, so they're out there having a good time on Columbus Day weekend. And at this point, so they're all kind of talking amongst themselves, just kind of talking about having a good time, whatever, future plans, whatever they want to talk about, kids being kids. And so they end up coming to the lake, and they're like, all right, we're going to go and jump into the water. We're going to have a good time. And so one of them jumps into the water, and they're like, no, that water's probably freezing. Hell yeah, it's cold, but don't worry, it gets, once you're already in it, it's cool.
He was like, that water's got to be 45 degrees. Your heart will stop if you're not careful.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. They're kids. When you're young, you make bad decisions, and you just gotta roll with it. When you're young, you're a Superman. Everyone's a Superman. So at this point, the guys jump in, and the girls are all like, well, shit, we have no choice. So they end up jumping in. So they just run in. They're all taking off their clothes, and they're all in their Speedos and trunks and shit like that, bikinis or whatever, and they all just jump into the water. So the two guys ended up making it to the raft. Now in the distance, so the girls are like taking their sweet time getting over there. They're all doggy paddling it over there. But guess what happens? In the distance, they see this kind of sludge looking kind of. They ended up saying like that they're assuming it's some kind of oil spill that might have happened. And they're like, no,
what
that's
you know
no
about
oil
spills, Pancho?
He's like, well, me and whoever ended up helped out at this ecological beach.
Mucho ecological, Pancho.
So anyway, so that puddle is starting to come near them, and hurry up, girls, get to the raft, hurry! There's like this raft right there in the middle of the damn, lake. So the guys are all egging on the girls, and he's all, calm down, man. No, that puddle or that oil spill or whatever's coming after him. Hurry up, girls!
Coming after the girls. I love the way he was like whining a little bit,
It's just an oil slick. Have you ever seen an oil slick before?
Yeah. So they make it back, and they're all, "What's wrong with you?" Yeah, they're all, "No, there's no oil slick that I've ever seen before." Well, anyways, so this kind of puddle thing ends up kind of circling around them, and they're like, "Oh, well, we used to help out trying to clean up the beach, and there was oil slicks, and it's nothing like that, blah, 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 that I've ever seen before because of our ecological whatever class." And, and the dude smoking, the big buff dude out of this group, he shows, like, the more dominance out of the group. He's smoking, and he's all like, mucho ecological, Pancho, mucho ecological.
Yeah, Deke and Randy kept doing that bad joking Spanish between each other for no reason. Like,
he reminded me of like Johnny, dude, from like, but the Johnny like from the Karate Kid, but he came out on Back to School where he had like longer hair. He looked exactly like this, dude, same actor and shit. So,
Paul Satter.
Well, I'm saying he looked exactly like Johnny though, like that classic '80s fucking heel.
80s blonde alpha. Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead, man.
Well, at this point, they're the nerdy type of guy out of this whole group ends up he's the worrywart, so he's all whining just like y'all are saying. He's whining, complaining about like how dangerous this whole thing looks. Well, anyways, the girls are all like, no, it's probably something. One of them ends up having like a stick or whatever, and she starts poking at it.
Yeah.
And then what happens? The darn thing ends up crawling up the stick, and it grabs her by the arm, and just like the blob, it ends up pulling her in, and it starts eating away like it has like some kind of acid type film on it or something, and it starts eating away at her arm. Before you know it, she's covered in the stuff, so she falls underwater. But then when she comes back to the surface again, all of a sudden she's like all skeleton and she looks all disgusting.
Yeah.
And and she's flat out just gross, and they're all freaking out. They're like, "Oh my God, what's going on? What is this stuff?" They're all, "No, we're safe as long as we don't mess with it." And the guy, the tough dude out of the group, is explaining like, "No, I can outrun it. I can outswim it. I'll go and get help. You all just stay here.
Fast, I can make it." That's what he says.
Yeah. So you're just like you're there with him while you're watching this movie or this this segment. You're with him. You're like, yeah, you can fucking do it. Look at you, man. You're all ripped. You're in Speedos, and yeah, you're the leader of the group. Fuck yeah, you can do it. Well, then guess what happens? Dumbass is like standing right there in the middle of the raft, but he's not paying attention where he's stepping. This blob ends up coming up through the cracks of the boards, ends up grabbing a hold of his foot, yanks it, gets a hold of his foot, starts eating it, it's crawling up his leg, eating his junk, yanks his ass right through the damn raft. And
that's the worst one because it's pulling one leg and it's only like small enough to hold to like push him down so his leg like goes the opposite way it's supposed to while he's like getting drugged down. So it's like his foot like literally is by his head. He's being drugged down. You're like, oh fuck. So that's where I was like, man, I thought for sure because I hadn't seen it in a while. I thought for sure he was gonna I thought he was the one that was gonna make it, but oh well.
Yeah, so he ends up going down, and you just see that sentimental value of he ends up losing his class ring right there on the raft. So you're just like, oh man, he was the one that was going to save the group, and what the hell happened? But I mean, if you're used to horror movies, you would expect that he was probably going to be the first one to go. The heroes or the big tough guys are usually first ones to go, at least the ones that seem like they're tough. Anyways, as far as this point, so now it's this tough guy's girlfriend, and
she's so fucking hot, man. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not. I was like, man, dude. I was like, baby girl, we gotta make it off this raft and start a new life or something.
Oh, fucking Laverne, yeah. And do you know what her name is? The real actress's name is?
What's her name?
Jeremy Green.
Laverne. That's right. I remember that now. Laverne. Oh, it's a dude's name.
Yeah, her name is Jeremy, and it's the standard male spelling.
Oh wow. Didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I'm starting to question things now, but I'll worry about it when I get to that part of it.
And fucking Randy starts trying to put the moves on her when she's unconscious and shit.
Yeah, like they show her tits and everything. I was like, whoa, that's better than I remember. I start winking at myself and shit.
Yeah, so at this point, just like Chris was saying, so the girl is like, she's all freaking out. She's tired, and she's all tired, and so is the guy. And the guy explained, he's all, look, you're fine as long as you stay right there on the boards. Don't go near the cracks. Well, anyways, as time goes on, they start getting tired, and he's all, look, the puddle's moved away. We can sit down. We're cool. So she falls down. They're sleeping. She sleeps in his arms, and he ends up putting her down. And he's all like looking around, and he's all like, man, this is the perfect time to get it on. He's all, yeah. I thought this part was hilarious. I was like, why in the world you're in danger and you should be thinking about trying to get away instead you're like trying to hit on this girl?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's usually most horror movies. They're usually like that. In a more dire moment, you're going to have sex or you want to do something. I wouldn't get that feeling, but I'm pretty sure there's other people that might feel like that. Anyways, so at this point, the girl's lying down. He's like making his moves on her, and he's like doing shit. But then when he goes ahead and like, she turns around, instead of moaning like she's all like enjoying it, she turns around. All of a sudden, she has the blob shit all over her face, and so the blob thing starts eating at her, and the nerd guy's like, shit, I can't help you, and she's all, help me, and he's like, nah, this is like my time to go. I'm sorry, girl. You're done. So he jumps in the water, and he's swimming like as fast as he can. The blob ate her. Now he's coming after him. He makes it to the beach, and you're like, oh, dang, he did it. He beat the blob. And he even gets up, and he's like, I beat you. I beat you. Well, damn blob can go on land, too. So he ended up eating him, and that's how it ends. And it ends in a comic book form. You're just like, oh, well, shit. So it ends up eating him, takes him back. He goes back into the water, and the car that they abandoned that was playing music to go jump in the water, the car is still there playing music. Guess what happens to roll up right next to it? Another car full of unsuspecting teenagers ready to have fun and get killed.
I love it. Fucking awesome story, dude. Chris, so when that fucking thing jumped out the water to kill the dude at the end, did it surprise you? Did you not see that one coming, or you know?
It did startle me a little bit. It did surprise me a little bit because, you know, it's very sudden, and you know you have to. That's the whole thing with these horror films where someone gets killed, slasher, whatever you want to call it. You know, you have to be sudden. If the audience is watching this like come about, you lose the element of surprise, lose the element of fear, or the fear of anticipation. Yeah, so you have to do that. But no, I was surprised.
And on to the last segment, we got what is it called? The Hitchhiker, right? The Hitchhiker, man. So, funny enough, I've watched this one a lot of times, and we were talking the other day, and I never noticed that the Tom Wright, who plays the Hitchhiker in this, you know, is also the guy from Tales from the Hood, which I thought it was hilarious. And Gabe goes, yeah, he's always getting his ass kicked. But go ahead and tell this story, man.
Yeah, this one was pretty funny for me. I mean, honestly, if I had to choose a second one, this would probably be like my second favorite, just by an edge over the Wooden Chief one. But honestly, this one was pretty damn good. So what happens with this one? It starts off with this lady and this young guy, and she wakes up and she's like, this is the middle of the night, or this is like probably like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But anyways, she ends up waking up, and she's like, oh man, oh, I'm gonna be late. Oh, I overslept. And he's all, oh, okay. Well, she ends up paying this dude. She ends up paying him $150. She's a pretty lady though. She's
I love this.
She's not bad looking, huh?
Dude, that fucking beginning alone is priceless. Like the whole setup.
It is, and honestly, I can't say that this doesn't happen, but it's so it looks so weird and awkward that it. Well, just like I said, it starts off with the young, not a young lady. She looks middle age at least, but she's still a pretty lady. And she wakes up, and the young guy is like, "Hey man, my money," and she's all like, "I don't know." You know, me cheating on my husband and paying you $150 for orgasms, and he's all what?
Was like six?
So
I counted 6 orgasms or whatever, and then I'm sure
6 orgasms.
I'm sure there were some others that you were hiding.
Yeah. So she's all like, "All right."
Mercedes outside. Come on, I gave you 6 orgasms.
Yeah, and so he's all like, "Well, am I going to see you next time?" Yeah, I'll see you next time. Oh, okay, you know.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, she's on her way home, and she's already trying to think of lies to tell to her husband. She's all,
That's the Chris story right there.
Yeah. Trying to make it to this podcast, and he's already thinking of like, what can I tell them?
Yeah, what kind of bullshit can I? How much smoke can I blow up Joe's ass this week?
Now, for those of you economic math freaks out there, 150 in 1987 would be like 320 today.
Damn.
That's a good amount of bucks.
Yeah, no shit, right? And you got a couple, and you got your nut off too, so.
Yeah. But I mean, usually it's the other way around, but in this case, it's the lady.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it awkward. You're like, how often do ladies do this? I would expect like they're desperate or something, but by all means, if y'all want it, that's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. I ain't one to judge. So get this. So she's on the way and she's thinking about these damn lies like she can tell to her husband. She's like, oh, I ran to the neighbors. Oh, no, he speaks to the neighbors. Yeah, that's right. He speaks to them pretty often. Oh, I know. I went shopping. I had to go and do something. No, but then I need groceries or something. Anyway, she's speeding down the highway, not even trying to make it home before her husband does. She's driving down the highway. She ends up making a sharp turn. This is the stupidest thing, but for some damn reason, there happens to be a bum with a damn sign, basically this guy is like needing help, he's like looking for change, but he's on this sharp turnpike on the highway, and she ends up losing control of her car, and before you know it, her car is spinning out of control, and she ends up hitting the dude. So then all of a sudden she's like, she stops and she freaks out and she keeps looking back and she's like, oh no, did I kill him? Oh no. And she's like panicking and she doesn't know what to do, and she's all like, she sees some lights in the distance and she ends up like thinking like, oh crap, more people are coming. So what does she do? She freaks out and she takes off. She turns off her lights and she takes off. Anyways, after a little bit, probably like about the next 5 minutes, the next car behind her ends up showing up, and he stops and he pulls over and he sees this, this poor bum guy on the damn road, all dead, and he's like, oh no. He reaches into his car and he has like a cell phone and he ends up calling. Anyways, this trucker comes up and he's all like, hey, what's going on? Oh, someone just got hit. Oh man.
A black guy, huh? Some shit.
Yeah, he's all, do you happen to know who did this? No, I saw a car go past me earlier, but I couldn't see the license plate or anything. The lights were off. So anyway, somebody else comes and they're like,
Chris,
what happened?
You know who the trucker was, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Say it for the fans, dude.
That would be Mr. Esteban El Rey.
You're saying it in Spanish. Okay, very, very clever, pal. Okay, yeah. Stephen King for the layperson.
I'm doing the antique speaking bad Spanish.
But yeah, then who shows up after? It's her fucking husband, right?
Yeah. So So later on, she ends up driving down, and she starts panicking the whole damn time. She starts panicking the whole damn time because she's thinking to herself, like, did I kill him? No, he's all right. No, he's dead. No, but he could still be alive. He's still... So anyways, later on at this point, so she's freaking out, and she ends up seeing, this person, like, waving her down, like, hey, and she looks, and in the distance, she's all like, no, I'm seeing things. It's not that same guy. She's like freaking out. Anyways, who pops up again at her car window? It's that guy that she ends up hitting. He's all, hey, thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride. And so she's all freaking out like, oh my God. She's trying to take off.
Hey, Ray, thanks for the ride. I love that.
So, pretty much he's harassing her throughout this whole car ride, saying, thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride. Anyway, she ends up...
The funniest shit is, like, when she's, like, driving off and he's, like, stuck on the car, like, on the window side of her car. And he's just, like, flying with the car. And I'm just like, this looks so ridiculous. And it goes on for so long. It's like how long does that ordeal last? Like, at least 10 minutes of him being, like, just utterly destroyed, dude.
That sketch alone, that one was like 35 minutes.
Was it? But just him like being on the actual car, being dragged around, her freaking out. Was it longer than 10 minutes? Just like, because I know, well, you said it was 35 minutes, so.
It was because from the time that sketch started till the end of the ending credits was about 35. It was about a 32-minute sketch, but that occupied probably 11 of that 32 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
That was honestly, with all the action and everything going on, you know she was like dealing with that damn fucker for like well over an hour's worth, just trying to shake him off, just trying to get him away. She even pulls out a gun from her glove compartment, and she's all
So it happened.
she's
It's 17 minutes from the moment she hits him to where like the last time he shows up. About 17, 16 minutes. Wow, of him getting destroyed.
Yeah, he's just getting his ass whooped. He gets run over. He gets shot at. It's so terrible, and he's looking terrible along the way. Finally, by the end of it, you would think like, okay, this whole thing is done with. I shot his ass, and he died. I saw him die. That's it. Well, anyways, he ends up popping up again, and I mean, his face and his body, he's all mangled. He looks disgusting.
Yeah,
And
that's the grossest. That freaked me out. I was like, I remember seeing that as a kid where it's like, they can't even talk. His like tongue's just like flapping around. Ugh. Chris?
Yeah, and
No, and like there's a part where like they get to the woods, and she like tries to ram him with her car against a tree.
Well, yeah, that's why he gets like that, right? Because she's hitting him in the face.
But there was one time, like she rams him a couple times in that tree, and one of the times he actually vanishes, and she just hits her own car.
Wait, that's funny. Yeah, she's all like, "What am I gonna say now?" She's like, "Fucking car's all fucked up."
And you know what I was waiting for in that sketch? A sketch like that where like she hits a hitchhiker. I was waiting for her to come across somebody that she hates at school and tell him, and that guy tells her, "Yeah, you can wipe that my shit don't stink smile off your face."
I don't get the reference, Chris. You're gonna have to.
I know what you did last summer.
Oh, I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie since by '98. It's. But we have to do it though, since you brought that up, so you can get you over.
I said $1, bitch.
So at this point, she makes it back to her damn house, and you would think like all is well with the world again. She made it home, but the damn girl is dead inside her. The damn girl is dead inside her own car with the damn sign. There's like I forgot what the sign said, but what?
Dover. That's the name of the town where the guy was trying to get to. Was Dover.
That's right.
Oh, there you go. And she ends up having that sign Dover on her chest. She's dead. But then who shows up? The damn husband, and he looks at her. He's all like, what the hell is wrong with this picture? And and pretty much it just kind of ends on that note. And then it just goes back to more of the animated scenes of the little boy where he ends up luring the throughout the whole time. So he ended up getting his Venus flytrap, but then there was some bullies that ended up chasing after him during the movie.
That fuck with spurs on his shoes for no reason.
Dude, he's a badass. You can't be a badass without spurs on your boots.
Yeah.
He was the leader of the group. And even he can wear whatever he wants ridiculously, but since he's him being the leader, he'll just whoop their ass just for making fun of him. So he had no choice but to, act like he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
You know how ridiculous? I don't care if you're like the alpha, the leader. First of all, he's a fat fuck. That's number one. Number two.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you know how ridiculous. I don't care how tough you are. You know how ridiculous you look when you have spurs on your fucking shoes.
I know, but you don't make fun of the leader. The leader will go ahead and whoop your ass.
I'm gonna have to start wearing spurs on my shoes just to prove a point.
Oh man!
At least you're not fat. At least you're not fat.
Okay, Chris.
Oh, that's a nice compliment there. I like that.
Look, two strikes against me. He's a fat fuck and he's wearing spurs.
Well, to kind of show dominance, I guess. He's leading the group to chase he's chasing this kid. The kid ends up leading him to this like a empty parking lot or whatever, and then or not even a parking lot. It's like it's just an empty little space or something. And anyways, these kids end up getting eaten and killed. And so here comes the little boy. The little boy was just like laughing the whole time. He has like pets, like pet Venus flytraps, a whole bunch of them, and the whole thing ends up animated. But then it ends off on a more realistic note where it shows the Grim Reaper again with the comics, and he's like throwing that shit out all on the street while he's driving off.
And it goes from the cartoon to the live-action Grim Reaper, which I liked.
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is supposed to kind of represent more of a comic feel for you, while still keeping it horror themed. So, I mean, I enjoyed that, and I like that. I like the whole animated scene. I love how it was put together, and the skits were a lot better than I feel it was. It appeals more to me than the first one. The first one was overly dramatic with the colors and stuff like that, and that's cool. But honestly, I mean, I like this different approach on it, though, a little bit more for me. And honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and shout out my ranking. I give it a 7.5. Even though I watch this pretty often, I mean, usually this is kind of like my fallback if I feel like I have nothing else to watch. And if you like Creepshow, I mostly like the Raft just because I like that whole terror being stuck on a whole little island while a monster is waiting for you. Though it looked like a bunch of trash bags put together floating in the water, it still looked. I still like the idea of it, and the characters were pretty funny. 7.5 out of this whole thing for me.
Chris?
Just Hitchhiker or the whole movie?
The whole movie.
The whole movie as a whole.
I think you had it. I think he ranked it like the Raft and then the Hitchhiker and then Old Chief Woodenhead, right? That's how you had, because you had said, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna give the holistic, the totality of the movie. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's good, but I mean, I had my criticisms of it. It was enjoyable for the most part, but and there were fun parts. Even in Raft, which is like there were redeeming things. Like, Joe, did you catch the Lex Luger song during Raft?
I did not.
Yeah, like later in the scene, like I think Deke had already been killed, and like they have the car radio on while they're on the raft, and like it's playing the Lex Luger, like the late '80s Lex Luger theme.
Now I'm gonna have to check it out, but no, I don't remember. I'll talk about it on the next podcast. Though, like, oh, I remember I heard it, but no, I was too busy looking for that fucking blob wannabe thing, dude. So.
Yeah, there was enough. The Raft had enough '80s style like movies, '80s movie nostalgia type element to it that it made it somewhat redeemable. But I just thought the story underlying it was dumb, and it just was slow. Like, you're just all this time goes by, and they're just sitting there on that raft, and it's like, why were they even there in the first place? Like, what are you ultimately trying to do? Because they even mentioned before they even got to lake getting the raft. Okay, the first sketch was good. It was a good story. It was enjoyable. It was kind of like the fucking this. I was expecting it to be, because I know this is the origins of Tales from the Crypt, or this is part of one element of the origins of Tales from the Crypt. So I'm expecting this to be something like when they get to George King, like when they first get on him and he's having trouble with his store. I'm expecting that he's going to do some kind of shitty thing to get ahead in life or try to catch up on some money, and it eventually has some tragic ending for him. No, it turns out he's a white meat babyface the whole time, and he gets fucked with and killed, and then someone avenges his death. So it was a good story, and is babyface wins, the fans go home happy. That's cool, but it wasn't Tales from the Crypt style, where it's like it's the tragic flaws of a person trying to do things to get ahead in life or advance themselves, and it leads to their tragic death, which is what Tales from the Crypt always was, at least as far as when I would watch it when I was in middle school and high school. Now, The Raft, I just didn't get it. I just thought it was a dumb story, and it was slow, and it was boring, it was stupid. I didn't get what the big deal about getting to this raft was in the first place, but okay. Hitchhiker was fucking great. That was classic fucking, a person who's fucked up. Like, here's this woman cheating on her husband. She's living this super upper middle class rich lifestyle, and she's cheating on her husband who's making that lifestyle possible. And she has a tragic thing happen to her. And
hey, everybody, Pete Pilot here from
she can still go home and lie to her husband and keep their life going as it is. But a dude fucking died in the process. Or maybe is he a dude or is he a spirit? Is it some demon fucking with her because of what she's doing in life? I don't know, and you don't know. And then she fucking dies of carbon monoxide poisoning, holding the Dover sign in her hands. Her husband sees it. And me and Rosie, by the way, we said that. We both said, we're like, watch the dude that called it in at the accident scene. Watch that be her husband. And Rosie caught
She caught it? Oh, she had said that. Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? I was like,
No,
oh, okay.
I said to her, and she agreed with me. Like I knew she caught it too, because I said, watch the dude that called in and watch that be her husband. Later on in the series, you're gonna find that out. But what she caught that was so awesome, and we'll get into Tales from the Hood, to tie in Tales from the Hood. The dude she hit is the same dude from first sketch in Tales from the Hood.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, for this one, it's I like it because they're all so different. The stories, I like them all. My least favorite is the Hitchhiker, but I still like it. I already explained I love fucking old Chief Woodenhead just because I like things that are like dolls or anything statues that are not supposed to be alive, become alive. Um, and then it'd be such a notorious kind of figure of a chief, you know what I mean, and fucking Native American shit. So it's really cool to see that kind of thing because you never see stuff like that. So love that. And then the Raft. I mean, I really didn't appreciate it as much as I do now until I watched it this time, and I was like, wow, this is a really good, the suspense, and it goes by really quick. I was like, wow, this one, like, these people are dying. Like, they pace it really well. There's not too much bullshit. They give you like 7-8 minutes of getting to know these people, and you like them, and like you were saying, the guy's fucking funny. He kind of gets himself over right away, the tough guy. I like the effects with the skin peeling off. Those were actually really good. Hitchhiker, I didn't like that one. It just felt like it was way too long. They could have chopped out 10 minutes of it. But the whole thanks for the ride, lady shit was awesome. But for me, yeah, 7.5 out of 10. It's one of those just kind of relaxing. I can always watch it kind of deals. Not like amazing, but it's just a good watch no matter what, no matter when. So. Anyway, we're next podcast we're going to be doing Tales from the Hood, continuing on our kind of little anthology type deal. But after that, we're going to be getting ready for Halloween Kills coming out in October. So we'll be doing Halloween 2018 after that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
Man, you gotta be shitting me. That mother's strong.
Peace.
May the force be with you.